You want the short version of my review of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings? It's my favorite MCU film to date, hands down, no doubt, and there you go. You want to stick around for the longer version? Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings is the kickoff for Phase 4 of the Marvel MCU films. Yeah, we had the Black Widow film a few months ago, don't really count. It's a flashback, so I think of Shang-Chi as a real starting off point for the next slate of Marvel's films, and if this is how it's gonna start off, I can't wait to see the rest of it because wow, Shang-Chi just blew me away and I freaking love this movie. You know, Shang-Chi is like a really lower level character in the Marvel universe. You know, I grew up reading comic books, but even I never read the Shang-Chi comic books, and I'm a martial arts fan. You know, he's not a Spider-Man, he's not a Wolverine, so when they announced they were making a film about him and putting all of this weight of the future of the Marvel MCU on this character's shoulders, I'm like, oh, that's kind of a bold risk there. Let's see how this plays out. And you know what? Boom. Marvel knows what they're doing and they did this film right. So the film, of course, is about Shang-Chi's character. When we first meet him, he's a 20-something slacker type of guy. He's in San Francisco working as a valet, just kind of getting by in life. And then his past comes calling for him. And when I mean his past, I mean his Faja is looking for him, and he needs Shang-Chi and his sister Zhang Lei to help him with this personal mission that he's got going on. Now, Simu Liu plays Shang-Li, and I only knew of this guy from playing Jung in Kim's Convenience, and I love Kim's Convenience. I think it's a great sitcom, but I was like, Simu Liu, Jung, really? He's gonna be this action guy and carrying this Marvel film? I was like, ooh, and then in the trailers coming up to the release of the film, they never really featured Simu Liu, quite honestly. They featured more of Tony Leung, Aquafina, so like, are they trying to hide his lack of ability in the trailers? But then, you know what? I was totally wrong. Simu Liu just kills it as Shang-Chi. He's got the comedy down, he's got the dramatic parts down, and the fighting. This guy, from what I know, he's not a martial artist in real life, but dude, that guy put in the time because he looks great in the action scene. So Simu Liu, man, he's got a great future as this character in the MCU, and I'm looking forward to great things from him. I mentioned Tony Leung, you know, most Western audiences will not know this guy, but this guy is Hong Kong legend. He is legend. He's been in Infernal Affairs. He's been in Hard Boiled, In the Mood for Love. When you talk about Hong Kong cinema royalty, this guy is the king, the emperor. He's the best of the best. I was so stoked to hear that he would be part of this Marvel MCU, and I knew that he was going to do a bang-up job, and of course he does. You know, Marvel's films, for all the greatness that they've brought, the one weakness that I think a lot of people can agree on is that their villains have always been kind of somewhat forgettable, except for a few exceptions. But Tony Leung as Wenwu, wow, you know, he just brings so much gravity and so much depth to his character and so much soulfulness. And the best characters in any type of movie are the ones you can really understand where they're coming from, their perception of what their personal agenda is, and really kind of empathize with them. And you totally do. Tony Leung's character in this movie is so heartbroken, and he's just so, you know, committed to his mission, and you really feel for him. So he is just a fantastic villain, and wow, I'm so glad they picked him for this movie. He does a great job. Aquafina, you know, everyone might think, it's just another comic sidekick like she was in Crazy Rich Asians, but nope. She actually has a lot of depth in this movie. Her character has a really major arc, and looking forward to more from her in the MCU as well. The rest of the cast, you got Benedict Wong for the Doctor Strange movies. You got Menger Zhang, who plays Shang-Chi's sister. You got Ronnie Chang, Michelle Yeoh. A fantastic cast all around. And this movie, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who is more known for his like more smaller dramatic independent films. I love this movie Short Term 12. I especially love Just Mercy, which came out a few years ago. If you haven't seen that film, highly recommend it. But you know, I'm like, wow, can this guy do big budget? And you know what? Fuck yeah, he can, because this movie looks fantastic. The cinematography, the camera work, the editing, and all of that, and the action scenes. Wow. Quick side note here: the action choreographer for this movie is Brad Allen, and for those of you who don't know who that is, he was part of the Jackie Chan stunt team, and he is a brilliant fight choreographer, a fantastic stuntman. If you haven't seen his work, just Google up or YouTube Brad Allen, Jackie Chan, Gorgeous, the movie Gorgeous, and you'll see that fight scene. wow, this guy is an amazing and brilliant talent, and we just lost him a few months ago. He passed away, and like, oh, it's so sad to hear that. But if this is his final legacy to filmmaking, what a way to go! Because the fight choreography in Shang Chi is freaking amazing, and I don't mean amazing for a Hollywood film, because Hollywood has always tried to implement Hong Kong style choreography in the past, most successfully done in probably the Matrix films, which they brought in Yen Wu Ping from Hong Kong. But Brad Allen brings in that same Hong Kong element to Hollywood and Shang-Chi, and it just looks amazing. From the very first scene of the film where they introduce Wen Wu, I'm like, whoa, this movie is different. I can tell already from the other Marvel films, and I'm like crossing my fingers. Please let the rest of the film live up to that opening scene, and you know what? It does. When Hollywood tries to use their actors in fight scenes, they put in a lot of time, obviously, to try to get the moves right, the choreography, the timing, but most times it looks rehearsed, it looks choreographed, because they're kind of trying to find their beats, boom, 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 boom. And of course, Shang-Chi does the same thing, but it looks more fluid, it looks more natural. When you're watching the fight, the blows, they actually mean something. They look like they actually want to try to do some harm or the block, and it's not just a dance, although it looks like one, but it looks like a real fight, and that's where Brad Allen's genius just comes through so well. And again, I'm so saddened by his passing, but the fighting looks fantastic in this movie, and he brings that Hong Kong creativity, the ingenuity, and it's all there, and I just loved watching it on the big screen in a Marvel film. There's elements of wuxia in it, there's elements of Jackie Chan stunt work, there's elements of Stephen Chow, and it just all works, and I was so happy to see that Asian style of filmmaking into a Hollywood film, and I want to see more of it, more. The musical score is fantastic. The music adds a lot of enhancing to what you see on screen. The set pieces are great. The story is fantastic. The storytelling, it's beautiful. Director Destin Daniel Cretton, oh man, the film, it just looks beautiful. It looks like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon type of artsy and beautiful, poetic, and wow. And then when it has to get down and dirty, it does that too. And like, the film is just so superbly made, and I can't wait to see what's in store next for this group of characters and for this director. I'm hoping to see a lot more of them going forward, and you can tell I love this movie. If I had to pick one gripe about the movie, it's very minor, but it has that Marvel thing where at the final battle there's this one big army fighting another big army, and it looked great, it's done well, don't get me wrong, but I kind of wouldn't have minded seeing a more personal, intimate one-on-one battle, maybe with just Shang-Chi and his father or something like that. Just a little more intimate, if you would, rather than just a whole big Marvel melee. But you know what? Really, really minor gripe. I'm not gonna let it deter how I feel about this film, because for me, this is my personally favorite MCU film of all time, and I can't wait to see more of it. So for me, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, guys, say boom, 10 out of 10, yo, that's right. Thanks so much for watching my review. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, MC on Film, for more reviews in the future. What are you waiting for?